Welcome into Sports Memos Betting Podcast, NFL, every game on the board with Teddy Covers. Teddy, welcome to the podcast. Happy Monday to you.
Hey, happy Monday, Drew. How are you today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. It's a holiday week out there. If you're listening to the podcast and traveling, hopefully driving safe, flying safe, and enjoy the time with your family and friends. Hopefully we can get you on some more right sides than wrong sides here. This is the opening line report each and every Monday throughout NFL football season. We got the Monday night football game tonight, Teddy. Baltimore at LA. That's the LA Rams. We're seeing the Ravens 3.5 on the road, 47 the total. Any quick thoughts here on the Monday nighter before we get to the Thanksgiving 3-pack of NFL games?
I'm in action on Monday Night Football. You can get it for $9 over at sportsmemo.com right now. I do have a fairly strong opinion on this game. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but certainly if you're making a case for the Ravens, you are looking at this Rams offense as being, it's not just stuck in the mud short term. This is an offense that you don't trust against a good defense. If you're making a case for the Rams, you're probably looking at Wade Phillips and his track record against mobile quarterbacks. He's done a pretty good job designing game plans against QBs like Lamar Jackson in years past. So there's a legit case to be made for both sides. I happen to think one of the two cases is fairly strong. So I'm in action on Monday Night Football tonight.
Check it out, sportsmemo.com. $9 Monday. Each and every play at Sports Memo discounted to just $9. You can jump on Teddy's play for Monday Night Football with analysis. Only $9. Check it out. Teddy, let's move on to Thursday's card. We got a 3-pack of games, 9:30 a.m. Pacific kick here. First game up, 3:05-3:06 Chicago at Detroit. We're seeing, what about 1.5? That's the Bears laying in Detroit, seeing 39 being the prevailing total here. So 1.5 Chicago laying on the road, 39 the total, Teddy.
Yeah, I'll talk about this game in just a second. I want to talk about the nuances of Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving weekend for just a moment. Because especially for the single guys, maybe you have a Thanksgiving dinner to go to, but it's not like you're stuck all weekend, and you have commitments and family that. And what happens, what happened every single guy I know this weekend, same thing happens over Christmas, same thing happens over New Year's. It's like a betting orgy. Okay. I mean, it is. You have every sport going. You're betting all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, college hoops, NBA, NHL, NFL, college football. I understand. It's a fun weekend. But if there's one thing I have to say, all right, I have to say it because I've seen guys take a season's worth of profit and flush down the toilet in 4 days. I've seen it happen. I've done it, much earlier in my career, but I've done it, This time of year, you have to be, of all the times you have to be cognizant of unit sizes, this is the time of year where you have all these sports going and these betting orgies. When you're seeing things clearly, yes, you are allowed to bet more. When you are losing and seeing things clearly, you're not allowed to bet more. Okay? You're not allowed to double up and then double up and, let's make this a 3-unit and, let's try to get it all back. Keep your unit sizes consistent. When you're seeing things clearly, bet more. When you're seeing things not clearly this weekend, please, for the love of God, don't blow your bankroll. That's all I'm going to say. And this can be a great weekend. I mean, Thanksgiving weekend is one of the most fun weekends of the year for sports bettors. It really is. But it's a weekend that you have to take with at least a little bit of caution. So there's my warning. Now, let's talk about the Bears and the Lions. My number's been off on the Lions in recent weeks, and I'm not looking to change it. The markets are higher on Detroit than I am. The look headline here was Detroit -1.5. My powering number is Chicago -2. The markets are 1.5 right now. I can't imagine that we're going to see a whole lot of money coming in for the Lions with Jeff Driscoll at QB coming off their loss to the Redskins. It's 4 straight for Detroit, 7 of the last 8. There's no betting bandwagon with either one of these two teams. So you say, which team's better? And, the Bears aren't pretty, but at least they have a defense. The Lions don't have much of anything right now. I would anticipate Chicago money if you like the Bears. And I'm not going to call this an emergency betting alert, but if you like the Bears, find a 1 right now. I think that'll be the best of the number that you can get. And the reason I'm not calling this an emergency betting alert, because we got 2 others, both around key numbers. The one not always quite so key in the NFL. All that said, again, Chicago, there won't be Detroit money. I don't know if we're going to see a groundswell of Bears money, but I know that we're not going to see Lions money for this one. I don't expect to.
Yeah, and it is 1.5, pretty much around the market, but you're right. There are some ones out there, one being at South Point here in Las Vegas. The second game up here, 1:30 Pacific kick. We got Buffalo at Dallas. Cowboys laying 6.5 in Jerry's World. 44.5 the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, and look, there's ones at Penny right now. Caesars, South Point, Wynn has a 1. Offshore, William Hill's got a 1. DraftKings got a 1. So there's still plenty of ones available for the Bears as we speak. When it comes to the Bills and the Cowboys, you said the prevailing line is 6.5. There is still plenty of 7s out there. 7s here in Vegas, 7s in Jersey, a couple of 7s offshore. Let's throw that emergency betting alert up there. Doodle-oop, doodle-oop. Yeah, this 7 won't hold. There's no chance it'll hold. Look ahead was Dallas 7. Look ahead was 7. My powering number is Cowboys 4.5. At some point, we're going to start to see some respect for the Bills. It hasn't really happened yet. We're starting to see it right now. Defensively, you can't argue with what Buffalo has done. All right. And you can make all the strength of schedule statements you want to about the Bills. Their defense has shown up in every game, pretty much. And when you're talking about the type of game the Cowboys played in yesterday, physical, cold, emotionally draining, tough loss. Now you got to come back, short week. Yeah, the money's coming for Buffalo here. The 7s are still out there. They will not be available, I would think, by kickoff. If you like the Bills, I bet it's sooner rather than later.
Okay, Teddy. And then the nightcap here on Thanksgiving night should be a heavily bet game. We got a NFC South up, New Orleans and Atlanta. 49 being the total. Looks like the Falcons catching 6.5 or 7, depending where you're shopping. This one at home in Atlanta, Teddy.
Yeah, I should probably emergency betting alert this one as well. Look ahead line was 5.5. My powering number is Saints -8. Nobody knows where to power rate the Falcons right now, flat out.
Yeah.
All right, there's an issue right now in the marketplace, and that's why my number's 8. And I'm like, okay, I'm not confident in my Atlanta number. I raised Atlanta way up after those 2 wins, and then yesterday after they, no-showed at home, I downgraded them, and then I'm like, let's downgrade their home field. Maybe that's the issue with the Falcons. There's nothing there for Atlanta at home right now. When they're getting punched and not punching back. And I've seen that on more than one occasion this year. Of course, it's a divisional foe. It's the TV game. It's Thanksgiving night. The Falcons certainly have a better game in them than the one we just saw. And the Saints are struggling to cover. They're winning all the close games, but as big chalk, they have not been, that hasn't been their role. Saints 6-0 in games decided by a touchdown or less this season. Less than a touchdown, I should say. 6-0 in games decided by less than a TD. Just a win with the Panthers. The Panthers get 1st and goal at the 3, don't get any points, and the Saints kick the game-winning field goal at the end. And that was a killer for my season wins. Unfortunately, we have the Saints over and the Panthers under. That was a very bad result, extremely bad result from one that I needed. Nonetheless, this game likely to go to 7. The markets are mostly there already. But you can find 6.5 to shop around right now for the Saints if you like them in that direction. New Orleans, again, they've been real good at winning the close games. And Atlanta right now is a team that the markets legitimately don't know where to price them, myself included.
Teddy, moving on to Sunday's card. We got the early kicks here, starting off top of the card, 4-5-1, 4-5-2. Green Bay at the New York Giants, seeing 6.5. Pretty much the number. We're seeing Chris hanging at 6. That's the Packers laying on the road. 46 the total in MetLife, Teddy.
Look headline here was Packers -7.5. My powering number is Packers only -5. And I'm not particularly high on the Giants, but hey, I mean, the Giants have done this like it feels like every cover they've gotten as a road dog this year has come the same way they got it yesterday. Last drive of the game, they find a way. 4th and 18, Danny Dimes with his best throw of the afternoon to Golden Tate for the 23-yard TD, and the Giants get the money. And they've done that a handful of times. I will give the Giants credit. They're not a very good team. They fight to the end. Saquon Barkley hasn't rushed for 4 yards a carry in any game since he came back from injury. The running game hasn't been there. It's all Danny Dimes behind a bad offensive line. And defensively, they're certainly not a good team. Green Bay, off a pretty shoddy showing last night in San Fran. And again, they faced the wrong team at the wrong time last night, but there was also a legitimate class difference between those two teams that the markets didn't necessarily realize before kickoff. I don't see this line going crazy. It's 6 right now. It's between the look ahead and my powering number. I would expect it to sit in this range for most of the week. I don't see Green Bay getting a 7. I'm not anticipating a ton of Giants money coming in either. So this is not an urgent must-bet Monday type of ballgame.
All right. And guys, we got the coupon code TC199. This is a huge discount on sportsmemo.com. You can get Teddy's 30-day all access, get you all the way through Christmas for just $199. That's a big discount there at sportsmemo.com. Way more than $100 off of his 30-day all access package at sportsmemo.com. You'll get every play in every sport Teddy releases for just $199. His 30-day all access. He's hitting 62% all sports in November, 30% ROI increase on your bankroll, both in college football and the NFL. He's killing it in the month, and really overall this season doing very well. In my favorite number, 57% in the NFL since 2015. That's last 5 years running, hitting 57% in the NFL. So check out his 30-day all-access package at sportsmemo.com using the coupon code TC199 at checkout. Gives you the huge discount, sportsmemo.com. Teddy, 453-454 up next. Washington, Carolina, seeing the Panthers laying doubles at home, seeing -10 pretty much across the board, 40.5 being the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line. Again, these are the bettable numbers from last week at the Superbook over at the Westgate here in Vegas, which gives you an idea what the markets were thinking. It was Carolina -9 a week ago. My powering number came Carolina 10.5, and the betting markets are at 10 right here. We're seeing under money early, and I wouldn't be surprised. Again, if you like the under, this is one you probably want to bet sooner rather than later. We're definitely seeing support for that. The Redskins are an under team right now. I mean, their defense isn't atrocious. Their offense is pretty dicey. Everyone's going to make fun of Dwayne Haskins for taking selfies instead of taking a knee. But the bottom line is the Redskins rallied from behind to win a game yesterday, which is something they haven't done a whole lot of. And Carolina found another way to lose. The kicker this time missed 2 extra points, missed a chip shot field goal, couldn't punch it in from 1st and goal at the 3 late. I worry about the Panthers in this point spread range. I did not like the quotes coming out of that locker room yesterday. All that being said, the early market indicators here are towards the under. If you like the under, that's one to bet now, not to wait.
Teddy, next game up, San Francisco at Baltimore, seeing a limited marketplace here. 46 being the total with Baltimore playing tonight. You can see why, but the early numbers seeing 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Baltimore -4.5. Going into Monday Night Football, I've adjusted for San Fran last night. I have not adjusted for Baltimore tonight. My powering number, obviously I haven't adjusted for Baltimore tonight. They haven't played tonight. But my powering number is Ravens -3.5. So I'm not surprised, again, that the markets are settling in that 4 range. I'll tell you this. Niners put everything into last night's game. I liked San Fran a fair bit last night. And the clients were able to cash in with that. I'm not convinced this is going to be their spot for what it's worth. But we'll see how Baltimore looks tonight. That, has a decent chance. I don't see it affecting the number significantly. If the Ravens get smashed tonight, that line's still going to come 3.5. If the Ravens look great and blow them out tonight, it's not going to go a whole lot higher, maybe 4.5. You know what I mean? So this isn't a spot where the Monday night game, could we see a 6 on Baltimore if they kill him? I don't think so. Not as good as San Fran looked last night. So I don't anticipate tonight's game to be a significant mover off of the current, 3.5, 4s that we're seeing on this, even if Baltimore looks particularly good or they look particularly bad. I would expect it to come in that general range of higher than a field goal, shorter than 6.
All right, Teddy, heading to the AFC South, we got Tennessee at Indianapolis, seeing the Colts -2.5 at home, 43.5 being the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, this is doodly oop time. There are
Uh-oh.
still threes out there. If
Yeah,
you like
seeing
Tennessee,
Circa at a 3.
you can. Westgate's got a three. Circa's got a three. There's a three as we speak at Bovada. There was a three. The penny's gone now. DraftKings has a three. So there are a handful of threes still out there as we record, and they will not be there for much longer. So doodly oop all you want. This is if you like Tennessee plus the three, grab it sooner rather than later. Look ahead was 3.5. My powering number's 4.5. Okay. Indy, it's not a Titan spot. I think Indy's the better of these two teams, flat out. And the fact that Tennessee blew out, the Jags have lost their last 3 games by 20 plus. We'll talk about them in a couple of minutes. Now, all the buys are over. But Tennessee's getting a fair bit of betting market support off of that. And it's not like Indy played bad at Houston the other night. They played well enough to win that game. It didn't work out. There were a couple of mistakes. There were a couple of iffy calls. It was tight. It was a tight game. But this is, and we saw betting market support for Tennessee last week, significant market support. We're seeing more of that again this week. The market's clearly like Mike Vrabel's club right now. So, from a value standpoint, Indy's going to 2.5. So the threes aren't going to be there much longer.
Teddy, we got Philadelphia at Miami up next. We're seeing the Eagles minus 8.5 or minus 9, depending where you're shopping. 46 being the total here in South Florida.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Philly 7.5. My powering number is Philly 7.5. The market's opened at 7.5. We have seen a little bit of Eagles money. But again, the Eagles played yesterday without their top 3 receivers, their leading rusher, and 2 Pro Bowl tackles. All right? When you play without that many, and I had Eagles over. I had Eagles over. And I really thought that team was injury-proof. I thought that, I'm like, they get injuries in the secondary, they're okay. They get injuries on the offensive line, they're okay. The defensive line, they have so much depth. But you can't, the offensive line, the tackles, you can't overcome both tackles getting hurt. You can't overcome your top 3 wideouts getting hurt. And and everyone's like, Carson Wentz sucks now. Of course he sucks now. He's got no one to throw to and no time to throw. Miami might be the proper elixir to solve some of Philly's woes. Although, again, it's a different spot here for the Dolphins. Last 2 weeks we haven't seen the same level. Certainly yesterday we didn't see the same level of effort from Miami. That was in the cold, on the road, and they were missing 3 of their 4 starters in the secondary. So it's certainly an injury report worth looking at. And I know this: I'm not excited about laying 7.5 with an Eagles team who just suffered brutal back-to-back home losses against the Patriots and Seahawks, and they're still live. It's worth noting Dallas lost, and they're still very much live in the NFC East. So to say that Philly's dead, I don't know that they're dead. I just don't know that I'm excited about asking them to win by more than a touchdown in a game where I would think Miami's going to show a little bit more than they did yesterday.
Teddy, I just want to run a handicapping by you. You brought up in the cold, not showing the effort. I have Miami circled in my notes. Do you think there's something to look to bet on Miami at home in the situation that they are with motivation and being underdogs, and possibly look to fade them on the road? Do you think there's anything there to that towards the end of the season?
I would say the stronger of the two would be we don't want Miami in cold weather games in late November and December.
Okay.
I'm not convinced they're bet on at home.
Okay.
I don't want the Dolphins in the cold. Not this year.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I definitely don't want that side either. We got 461, 462 up next. Oakland at Kansas City, seeing the Chiefs minus 9.5 or minus 10 in Arrowhead. 51.5 being the total here, Teddy.
Look ahead line was 8.5. My powering number off Oakland's no-show yesterday was 8. We see this happen all the time where the markets, the team plays a bad game. The Raiders played a bad game yesterday. All right. The Raiders had been playing good football, and they had a bad game. That doesn't make Oakland a bad team. Their past defensive numbers are atrocious. And certainly when you think about what Kansas City's been able to do throwing the football around, you can understand why the number here is 9.5, 10. But note that it's not 10. It's 9.5, 10 right now. And the markets are saying, yeah, Kansas City doesn't deserve, there's clear resistance at 10 to KC. And I remember the first meeting between these two teams. I remember it well. The Chiefs had 28 points. The offense blew up in the second quarter, and they had 4 touchdown drives. The other 3 quarters, Oakland was absolutely the better team. The Raiders, they struggled in the red zone. They turned the ball over. But they moved the ball on the ground. They moved the ball through the air. They played really good defense with 1 bad quarter. I lean Oakland here. And the markets are telling me, again, the 9.5/10, there's resistance at 10. Not a ton, but enough. It tells me this line's not likely to skyrocket.
All right, Teddy, we got Tampa Bay, Jacksonville up next. Jags laying 1 at home, 49 being the total here.
Look-ahead line here was 4.5. You know what I mean? That's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
My powering number is 1.5. But, I mean, that's a significant adjustment off of 1 week in November. All that said, the Jags lost yesterday. There's no sugarcoating it. All right? When your team doesn't show up and then they don't show up again and they don't show up again, that's 3 weeks in a row. The Jags have lost by 20 or 3 games in a row. They had the London game and a bye week, and then they came back and back-to-back no-show losses. This is a team that the markets are crashing on right now. And, I mean, Jameis threw 2 picks yesterday. He leads the NFL with 20. And yet, he's got a pair of 1,000-yard receivers now in Evans and Godwin. And it's certainly a Tampa team that has fought the good fight all year. I would not be surprised at all to see Tampa go off as the chalk here. I don't think that we've seen a lot of wise guy support for the Bucs. We're seeing the markets crash on Jacksonville. From a public perspective, public doesn't want the Jags right now. They don't really want the Bucs necessarily either. But yeah, this line's not going up. It can only go down, and it's already gone down. We're looking at 1s now, mostly across the board.
Teddy, New York Jets at the Cincinnati Bengals, seeing Jets minus 4.5, 39 being the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line here was 3.5. My powering number is 4.5. Nobody wants Cincinnati. Let's start with that. Okay, so. As we saw yesterday, the Bengals, if you got them at the close, you pushed. But even the wise guys aren't excited about the Bengals right now. I mean, there's a very limited market support for Cincinnati, and that's why you've seen the Jets laying 4.5 on the road, or 4 on the road, and 4.5 popping up in this ballgame. It's been only Jets money. And look, I mean, that's 3 games in a row where Sam Darnold, he had the seeing ghost game and then he had a bad game down in Miami. And I remember in the bad game down in Miami, where the markets were crashing on the Jets, just like Oakland today. And I'm like, yeah, they just had a bad game. And they've been bet on ever since. 3 straight wins, 3 straight covers. The ball on offense has been pretty good, And I know that, the Jets need offensive line help in the worst way. Their offensive line was solid yesterday. They gave, there was room to run. Darnold had time to throw. There are buy signs on the Jets, and the market's certainly on sleeping on them in this range. But again, nobody wants Cincy, so recognize that there's a premium. You're laying a price here to fade a squad that is now 0-11 straight up again. Which definitely, poor Bengals fans. Bengals fans are have it worse than Lions fans even. Nobody has it worse than Browns fans though.
Who do you have power rated the lowest in the NFL, Teddy?
I have Cincinnati, but they're only. I think I. Let me look. I got them. They're a half point ahead of Miami, 1.5 better than Washington, 3 point. And I've got again. I'm off the market on Detroit, and it hasn't hurt me at all. But I've got Detroit as the 4th worst team, a field goal better than Cincinnati.
All right. Teddy, we got LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals up next. Limited marketplace here with the Rams playing tonight, but are seeing 4s or 3.5s in the marketplace. That's the Rams laying on the road. 46 the total in the desert.
Yeah, look headline here was LA 3.5. And remember, Arizona didn't play and the Rams haven't played yet. So if the line's anything but 3.5 right now, it just tells you what the markets are thinking generally. Okay. You know what I mean? But look at it was 3.5. My powering number on the Rams is 4.5 for this game. Arizona's got a nice betting bandwagon. If the Rams get smacked tonight, this line's not opening 4.5 or 4. Or reopening at that number. If the Baltimore goes in and smacks them, it'll be 3.5 or 3. If the Rams look good, it'll be 4, 4.5. So in some ways, this line, this modest movement towards LA, I don't want to put too much into it. The number could move a fair bit in this one based on how good the Rams look tonight. If they look bad, 3, 3.5, they look good. 4, 4.5, maybe higher.
Teddy, we get the LA Chargers at the Denver Broncos up next. Seeing Chargers laying 2 or 2 in the hook, mile high, 38.5 the total here, Teddy.
And again, the Chargers didn't play last week, all right? Broncos played, and it was a terrible spot for Denver, coming off a last-minute loss with playing against a really good defense, again traveling east for an early start game. I'm not surprised. I'm kicking myself for talking myself out of Buffalo is what I'm doing, because I should have had the Bills on my card yesterday for the clients. So I'm annoyed with that. But again, Denver was a 1.5 point favorite on the look ahead. Now they're, what are they, 1.5, 2.5 point dogs? And the Chargers didn't play. So this is all the markets crashing on Denver right here. Like I said, they had a bad game, But with Denver, the concerns may be greater. I don't like any of the comments I'm seeing out of that locker room. The Fangio experience is not, and I'm a Fangio fan, but that's not a team that's in love with each other and in love with their coach. And we don't know yet who's going to be quarterbacking. There's a chance, Drew Lock has practiced the last 2 weeks. The thumb injury is healed. He could make his NFL debut this week. Obviously, it's been all Chargers money. I don't know that gets to 3. I think there might be some resistance at 3. Otherwise, I'd have given the emergency betting alert signal. You got to get down now.
Teddy, 471-472, Cleveland at Pittsburgh up next. We're seeing the Browns laying 1 all the way to 2.5. So it looks like some opinion in the marketplace, depending where you're shopping. 40 being the total here, Teddy.
And it's not necessarily a marketplace. I mean, let's talk about this, because Monday morning, the markets, where one book is not necessarily where the other book is. And then later on, people clean up the messes. They say, oh, there's still a 1 over there, and it should be 2.5. And then someone will come in and buy it up, and the book will move on air. But it's not unusual on a Monday morning to have legitimate NFL variance between one book and the next. And that's not something you find in the NFL later in the week.
Right.
So that's one of the advantages of betting, betting early for the NFL. And again, big line move off the look ahead. Look ahead was Cleveland -3, Pittsburgh -3. My power rating is Pittsburgh -1. Now Cleveland's -1, 1.5, 2. The Browns beat the Dolphins in a no-show game.
Yeah.
And the Steelers, they benched Mason Rudolph yesterday, and they brought in Duck Hodges, and Hodges made 1 throw, and that was all they needed. And it's certainly a game when you talk about revenge, and they just played a couple of weeks ago, and it was an impactful game with Garrett and Rudolph battling at the end, and the Browns were the better team that day. I'm a little bit I'm not crazy surprised, but I'm a little bit surprised by the market support here for Cleveland, given that it's Pittsburgh at home in revenge, and the Steelers have been fairly good in this role. All that said, it's clear that there's market support for the Browns right now off of that resounding win over Miami. And a 3-game winning streak now for Cleveland. And there's a path to the playoffs for the Browns. There's also a path to the playoffs for the Steelers.
For the Steelers, yeah.
So it's not I can't see this line going a whole lot higher. I can't, but the markets are there. The markets are clearly pounding Cleveland today, for what it's worth. So if you like the Steelers, there's no rush to get to the window in this one.
Teddy, think there's anything to the handicap from what happened last time these two teams played each other? And obviously not going to have Myles Garrett this time, but anything else like in terms of how much fanfare there was and how much mainstream media that there was? I mean, with the helmet swinging and everything.
I think there'll be a fair bit of hype for this game, and so the fact that it was so recent,
right? The
fact that Cleveland controlled the game, the Browns defense was the dominant unit on the field in that game. Mason Rudolph was pretty bad. It'd be interesting to see who Tomlin goes with at quarterback this week. But the fact that Tomlin was willing to make a change tells us He'll go with the hot hand moving forward. And if Hodges struggles, maybe he goes to Rudolph. If Rudolph struggles, maybe he goes back to Hodges. I don't mind that for Pittsburgh. I'd rather have a coach who's, neither one of them is a good quarterback. So I have no problem with the coach saying, yeah, let's ride the hot hand.
Yeah, me neither. I'm in that camp as well. And guys, we got 2 games left here, the Sunday Nighter and the Monday Nighter. Get a look ahead at both of those. But remember the coupon code TC199. Big discount there at sportsmemo.com for Teddy Covers 30-day all-access pass. You'll get every play and every sport he releases for only $199. Well more than $100 off the retail price at sportsmemo.com. He's hitting over 60% in November, all sports November, 30% ROI increase for your bankroll, both in NCAA football. We got NFL hitting last 5 years at a 57% clip. So check them out, sportsmemo.com. $199 for 30-day all access. Get you all the way through Christmas. Sportsmemo.com. Coupon code TC199 at checkout. Teddy, the Sunday Nighter. New England at Houston, seeing the Pats laying 3. There's some 3 with some juice out there as well. 44.5 being the total.
Yeah, look ahead line here was New England minus 4.5. My powering number is New England minus 3. Neither one of them, both these teams won, neither one covered this past weekend. And I mean the Bill O'Brien's track record in games like this has not been good as the Texans head coach. We'll put it that way. That being said, New England, all they do is continue to win games, and the defense has been so good. They still haven't faced a good offense clicking on all cylinders all year in conditions. And again, they had conditions in their favor yesterday. They won't have conditions in their favor in Houston, and the Texans do have a good offense. I'm fascinated to see what the Patriots D looks like this week, because this might be literally the first good offense they've played all year. Without conditions. I mean, if New England shuts them down, then we have to give the Patriots a different level of credit than we're giving them. I already have New England power rated number 1 in the NFL, but it's not by any margin. I have the Saints right behind them, and the Niners right there, and so it's not like I have New England way ahead of the league. If the defense dominates this matchup, we're going to have to talk about the Patriots, defense and historical levels, which we haven't done yet because their quality of opposition has been so bad. All that said, the Patriots offense is, I'm not going to say it's broken, but it ain't working real well. Hard team to lay a price with, but I don't play a lot of Patriots game. I really don't. New England is that good. They have been that good against the spread. And yet I look at the Patriots now and I say this team is, they're not that great. So it's hard for me to I don't play a lot of Patriots game. I doubt I play this one. If I play it, I can only play the dog.
Teddy, we'll be able to talk about the Monday Nighter next NFL opening line report next Monday. But any quick look aheads here? Minnesota at Seattle, seeing the Seattle Seahawks minus 2.5 or minus 3. The 2.5s do have juice. 48.5 the total.
A look ahead line here was 3. My powering number is 3.5, and the markets are at 3. Although there's going to be some wise guy support for the Vikings here. There's for as much as Seattle has impressed, and they've impressed in all kinds of different ways this season. Their offensive line is still dicey. There's certainly a team, and that is a big concern against Minnesota coming off a bye and Zimmer with extra time and all of that. There'll be at least some Minnesota market support. The wise guys will be on the Vikings this week, I would think, in the sense that I'm not convinced that the 3s hold for this game. If you like Minnesota, grab a 3 today. I'm not going to hurt you.
Teddy, great pod as always. The NFL
not going to 3.5. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. And guys, did want to do a quick programming note here for the holiday weekend. This is the NFL opening line report. We will do college football, every game on the board. Teddy will actually be the first guest up on that, knocking out a few games here in just a minute after we finish this. Then we'll have Robbie Vino, Mid-Major Matt, and Joe Ranierian to finish it off. Monday and Tuesday will be the college football every game on the board podcast. And this will have to suit as the NFL every game on the board podcast due to everybody traveling. So guys, hopefully you enjoy the pod. Teddy, anything else you wanted to throw out before we shut this down?
No, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, guys, for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with Drew and I. And like you said, we have pods posted on Monday and Tuesday, and then nothing for the rest of the week. So enjoy your turkey day. And I look forward to doing another NFL opening line report next Monday. Good luck tonight. Good luck all week. Cheers.
Cheers to you, Teddy. And guys, yeah, we will be back on Monday, NFL opening line report. And the coupon code TC199 at checkout for his 30-day all-access package at sportsmemo.com. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with the College Football Every Game on the Board podcast.